Dr. Burke, what is the book Wholeness about?
Wholeness is about my journey out of severe depression. It is a 10-year journey where the depression was caused by traumatic memories being repressed. And those traumatic memories were from satanic ritual abuse from my father and a group of people when I was very young. And it was bringing all those memories to consciousness. And that, for me, created wholeness.
Who do you think might benefit from reading Wholeness?
I really think it speaks to mankind, and so I really believe anybody could really benefit by reading it. I think it brings hope and courage and allows people to understand that they do have a lot of strength and they can get through a lot of things and they can live a very happy life no matter what happens to them. So I think just about anybody could benefit from it.
Okay. What is satanic ritual abuse and how is it different from other forms of abuse, Dr. Burke?
Satanic ritual abuse is a form of abuse that is cult-like in its nature. It is really done to young children. It is long-term abuse. It involves rituals. It involves torture. It involves physical, sexual, and mental abuse, usually by a group of people, ultimately for power that they believe they get out of that, and to indoctrinate those people.
So Dr. Burke, why doesn't the public know more about satanic ritual abuse?
I think that's really because of a couple of reasons. One, it's such a difficult subject to talk about. I really believe most people don't want to hear about it because it's not an easy subject to hear about, because it's done to such young children and it's such torture. That's a huge reason, I believe. I think another reason is everybody's in denial about it and they choose not to read about it. And the people who are so abused are ashamed to talk about it, I think. They don't want people to know that this happened to them because it does lead to psychological difficulties. So they're ashamed. I think the other reason is it truly is a secret cult. It's a secret society. So the goal is to keep people quiet.
Okay. What is the fate of most satanic ritual abuse victims?
Most of the victims end up with dissociative identity disorder, which used to be known as multiple personality disorder. It is unfortunately misunderstood, that diagnosis, in that most of the time people view multiple personality disorder clients or dissociative identity disorder clients, which is what it's called now, as the Eves of the world. Three Faces of Eve really brought that into the public eye many years ago. So when people think of dissociative identity disorder, they believe that people are so dissociated, anybody that has that disorder, that they lose time, they lose, and they lose themselves into different parts of themselves. So one day they dress a certain way, talk a certain way, act a certain way. The next day they feel a different way, they act a different way, they dress a different way, and they have different language skills, and that it changes with different alters, they call it. But in reality, that's really not exactly what multiple personality or dissociative identity disorder is. It's really on a continuum, and that's far end of the continuum. So that yes, that does happen, but that's not what I experienced. I didn't lose time. I didn't have different names for myself. I didn't dress differently. I didn't act particularly differently at times. Mine were much more subtle than that. And most people with dissociative identity disorder really don't even know they have that disorder.
Okay. Dr. Burke, why did your recovery take so long, about 10 years?
It took a long time because it's a very difficult past, and when you repress that kind of traumatic material, it really takes patience to allow the client to move at the rate that they're able, because you wall off those memories to protect yourself. So to bring those memories forward can cause severe psychological distress. So you have to work at the pace of what the client can handle and hold into their consciousness. They put it into their unconscious mind for a reason, and it served a good purpose. It kept that person psychologically safe so that they could function. So to bring that forward again into the consciousness, it's hard to hold on to that into the consciousness. And so you really have to go at a pace that they can tolerate, which is, I think, a mistake a lot of therapists make, is to try to go to too many traumatic memories too quickly, which can cause even more psychological problems than help them. So if you need to go at a pace that everyone is different.
And Dr. Burke, you talked about repressed memories. Can you talk a little bit more about what that actually is?
Well, repressed memories are really a hot topic of conversation in my world, in the psychological community. And some people don't believe in repressed memories. There's a whole false memory syndrome people. And there are some people that believe all repressed memories are false, which I disagree with. But repressed memories are really a way that the mind stores information, and it really is stored in the body. So true traumatic memory doesn't go into the frontal cortex. If I can make it as simple as I can make it, it kind of goes across and is stored differently. It's stored in the body. It never makes pictures. Declarative memory, which is what we have from day-to-day life, is stored in the frontal cortex, and you can bring up pictures of that, and you can talk about it, and it's part of your history. It's part of your life. You talk about yesterday, you talk about what you did a year ago, and you can have pictures in your mind of what you did, and you talk about it, and that's declarative memory. Repressed memories and traumatic memories are stored very differently. They're iconic memories, and they're really stored in the body. So when they start to come to consciousness, what happened to me and what is true for most is that the body remembers it, but you don't have pictures of it. And it isn't until you get the pictures of it, of what really happened and why your body is doing what it's doing, and you connect those two, that then it becomes declarative memory. And holding on to that in the consciousness is difficult, because it's been put away for a reason.
Huh, that's interesting. So why is the book Wholeness relevant to people who have not been abused?
I think it's really a story of courage and of hope, and so everybody has gone through something in their life that is difficult. Life just is not an easy path for most of us, and so I really believe it speaks so often to don't give up. You just don't give up. It also, I think, helps people understand that the decisions that they make when things happen that aren't necessarily what you want to have happen, it's really just the decisions that you make at that time that really influence your life, and you need to understand that no matter how difficult your past has been or what's happened to you, it doesn't mean you can't live a very happy, fulfilled life.
How prevalent is satanic ritual abuse?
No one knows for sure, but the estimates have been from one source that has studied this quite extensively. There's 100,000 cases in the United States alone, was that estimate. It is also known that it's happened to other places around the world. So quite frankly, there's no one that really knows for sure.
And how can someone contact you?
I have two ways of contacting me. You can look at susieburke.com, which is a website, and that will give you the email address, which is wholenessfoundation@yahoo.com.
Great, thank you so much for your time and for sitting in with us.
Thank you for being here. I really appreciate your questions. Thank you so much.